Take a deep breath and let your shoulders drop. Let your breath find its natural rhythm. You don't need stillness, you only need presence. Your system already knows why you're here. Last week you entered the heart and learned how to feel without collapsing. This week you're not returning to the heart. You're building upward from it. This is the week where your system learns something it's never known how to do. You learn how to sequence your inner world. Not emotion first, not instinct first, and not expression first, but the correct internal order that allows your truth to move cleanly through your body. It's not about healing a wound. It's about creating an internal rhythm that the nervous system hasn't been taught yet. So take a breath and just let it land. This is the moment in the blueprint where you learn your inner world doesn't operate by intensity. It operates by structure. Your solar plexus isn't here to drag you backward. It's not here to remind you of your old fire. It's here because identity lives there. Direction lives there. Choice lives there. The part of you that knows how to move lives there. Your heart cannot give you direction, it can only give you depth. Your throat cannot give you identity, it can only reveal it. So this week is about bringing them into a single functional sequence. Not healing each one or balancing each one, but teaching them how to work together for the first time, maybe ever. So just pause and feel that for a moment. This is new territory. Now, in your solar plexus sits your internal engine. It's not the engine of survival, it's the engine of authorship. The part of you that initiates. The part of you that says, I'm going here, I'm choosing this, I'm no longer choosing that. For most of your life, this engine has been disconnected from your emotional body. That's why your feelings often ran without direction, and your decisions often lacked emotional accuracy. You had power without grounding, emotion without orientation, expression without clarity. This week reunites those systems, not by revisiting the past, but by teaching the solar plexus how to feed the heart, and by teaching the heart how to prepare truth for expression, and teaching the throat how to carry that truth outward without distortion. You're building a vertical channel inside yourself. A channel your system will rely on for the rest of your life. Let your breath deepen slightly and let your awareness move into your stomach. Feel the subtle pulse there. Not the past, not the wound, not the memory, just the creative engine of your being. This is the part of you that says, I want, I choose, I claim, I direct. Now imagine that energy lifting upward, not as heat or fire, but as information, data, a signal or instruction. This is the solar plexus's real purpose. It tells you which direction your truth naturally moves. Not why you feel what you feel, not what you should do about it, just the directional impulse. Now let that information rise 2 inches. Now bring your awareness to your heart. Let the information from the solar plexus arrive there like a messenger entering a council room. Not to be swallowed by emotion, but to be interpreted. Your heart takes the raw direction and asks, what does this movement mean for me? What does it reveal about my values? What does it awaken that I haven't fully acknowledged? The heart adds context to direction. It takes the pure impulse and it gives it shape. Let that happen silently and naturally and without forcing insight. Your heart isn't here to feel more deeply this week. It's here to translate direction into purpose, to let the two merge, direction and meaning. Now shift your attention gently towards your throat. It's not about speaking. It's about letting your system sense what it feels like when truth moves this far upward without being interrupted. The throat is where your truth becomes choice. Not reaction, not performance, not protection. Choice. This is the layer of expression that's never had access to clean information before. Your voice has always been translating the wrong part of you. Either your unfiltered instinct, or your unprocessed emotion, or your protective pattern. But this week, your throat receives information that's already been clarified by the heart and oriented by the solar plexus. That's a different kind of voice, a different kind of decision, a different kind of power. Your nervous system doesn't really know how to hold this yet, and that's exactly why this week matters. Stay with the sensation in your throat. It may feel like pressure or warmth or nothing at all. All three would be correct. It's not about sensation, it's about sequencing. Now take a breath in through the solar plexus, draw the breath upward through the heart, and let it travel all the way up into the throat. Hold it for 2 seconds, and then release it through the mouth. You've just run the full internal pattern of week 9. Not conceptually, somatically, energetically, psychologically. Your system felt that. It'll remember. You're now teaching it to repeat this pathway automatically. So let yourself soften and let the body integrate, and hear this clearly. You're not retrieving anything this week. You're activating a new internal architecture, a way of moving through your own truth that's more intelligent, more efficient, more aligned than anything that you've used before. This is where your reactions begin to change, your timing changes, your communication changes, your self-perception shifts. Your relationships reorganize, not because your emotions healed, but because your inner sequence upgraded. The solar plexus initiates, the heart interprets, and the throat expresses. That's the order that your body's been waiting for. This is the structure that your life has been missing. At some point, if you're paying attention, you notice something uncomfortable. Your life isn't shaped by what happened to you. It's shaped by what you do in the 2 seconds after something happens. Everything is decided there, not by fate, not by conditioning, by how quickly you hand your authority over to your oldest reflex. Most people never question that handoff. They assume the first internal surge is the most authentic one. It isn't. It's simply the fastest. And speed isn't truth. If you want to truly change your trajectory, you don't need more healing or more insight. You need ownership of those 2 seconds. That moment isn't emotional. It's mechanical. It's the space where your brain tries to complete a pattern it's repeated thousands of times before. That pattern might be fear. It might be aggression. It might be retreat. It might be appeasement. It doesn't matter. The important part is that it's predictable, which means it's replaceable. That's the perspective shift that most people will miss. Your growth doesn't come from decoding your past. It comes from interrupting the pattern that tries to recreate it. You don't need to trust every feeling that fires. You need to examine whether it belongs to the present or to a former version of you. The moment you begin doing that, your life does something unusual. It becomes directional instead of reactive. Not because you suddenly know where you're going, but because you aren't being pulled backwards by reflexes that were designed for a life that you don't live anymore. That's what maturity actually looks like. Not calmness and not even confidence, but the ability to question the first impulse and choose the second one. The first impulse belongs to your history. The second belongs to your potential. Every meaningful change you will ever create is hidden in that distinction. Not mystical, not even emotional. Just the sober realization that your agency begins the moment you stop accepting reflexes as final. That's the threshold. Once you cross it, you don't become a different person. You simply stop outsourcing your direction to a nervous system that was trained by situations that you survived, not situations that you're in. That's where real change starts, not in healing, not even in processing, but reclaiming the moment where you decide who gets to act in your name.